music, please? Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. I had to update my software for my broadcasting software. So it's a nice rainy day up here. The leaves are falling. Snuggly weather, sweatshirt weather today. So I hope you all are having an amazing afternoon. And we will go ahead and get into the markets. All right, so let's go ahead. I do have TrendSpider up. I posted this as well on my Twitter handle today, so you guys probably saw it, and it's performing pretty nicely. That the levels that I put out there to watch, hey, you know, if we break above 336.54, watch, we're going for that potential test up to 337.35 and so on. Now, are we in the possibility where we will continue up to 339 over here? Or is this going to be a breakdown point? We hit a high back here on the 1st of October, which was where we saw some selling power. Hey guys, hey John, hey Elena, hey Kawakawa, aloha, bon dia, Gabby, or is it bom? With an N or an M? Slowly but surely, I'm going to learn some Portuguese. Hey Arky, how's it going? So on the 45-minute chart here, I really like the 45-minute chart. I love how TrendSpider, you can overlay the chart as well, and I like black and white candlesticks. So we are testing an area where we saw some selling power coming in back on the 1st. Now this was pre-market activity in which we were up at these levels. So are we going to break above 338.71? Did not look like that wanted to happen today for the SPY over here. So let's also check out the Qs. Bum. Okay. All right, so on the Qs for today, we are definitely bouncing. Look at that. We have pretty much a V-shaped bounce. I have no idea if I can draw a, let's see, can I do this? Look at that. So right now, we are somewhat in this box. Are we going to continue to the downside? That's cool. It's the first time I've played with that. So we tested here. It broke out. And I have to also apologize. I was teaching in the training pit all about patterns and pattern recognition and where we could potentially go with the patterns as well. So here we are on the Qs. Potential downward target if we break down over here below 27.75. Oops, no, I want you to move that down here. If we break below 27.75, then potential targets, right, down to the downside down here, maybe over here, 275.88, and down to the 200 down here of 273.81. So those are some potential targets to the downside. Upside, it looks like we might be, if we can break out above, we did break the 50 simple moving average on a 45-minute chart, heading up potentially to 281.15. Let's look over at TradingView. All right, so we've got SPY here as well on the monthly chart. Look at that, what a crazy monthly chart. Yeah, let's look at Tupperware and PEIX. My pleasure. Yeah, we are testing a resistance line as well from a high that we had on the SPY, like I said, back on the 1st. So we had big selling, big drop down, big up day. Are we going to find that we have another downward day? You know, with everything with Trump, they always say, oh, Trump's out of the hospital, that's why the market's up. No, the big guys are manipulating it. All the reporting is after the fact. You guys got to remember that, right? So we also had Mayak. This is a buyout, so scratch that. I took that off my list this morning. It's a buyout actually at 225. SQ as well was on my watch list today. And I don't want a weekly chart. Let's put this 24 and let's put this 15. All right. So SQ has had a nice surge today on the daily chart. It is a little bit overextended from that upward trend. We might see that it pulls back. However, it did have a 52-week breakout. I did mention this yesterday as well. JKS with solar power. JKS had a nice run. See how it tested? And then again, that second time, there was actually quite a lot of selling power right here at that $56 mark. Then finally, once we broke out, we had more volume. Boom. Nice trade to the upside right there. All right, NEO as well. NEO, we had a potential, it was on my long list, but it ended up having a short trade to it. So it broke down below 2160, pulled back, came down to a low of 2107, and then bounced to the upside from here. Now, where are we going to go? We've got a lot of moving average traffic resistance. Is it going to hold it right here and we consolidate, or are we going to close below 2130 today? That might be a bit of a bigger move. Look at how we've had selling power coming in. 1, 2, 3 days of selling power. Are we going to continue down to the downside? Let me turn these off because I don't want those there. Right? So is this going to continue to pull back and we're going to close below 2050? Below 2050, we might start to see another downward trend to NEO. Let's see here. We have this and over here. It's a bit more. So will we, oh, we have this one up here. We were up above that, so we shall see what happens, right? Actually, it's a bit more like this. It's respecting that trend line better. So a bit of an ascending wedge here. Now, are we going to come down and test that lower bound? We very well might, and that might be a potential longer term entry right there. Gilt. Satellite company had massive pre-market movement this morning, and it ended up pulling back right at open, found support down here around 480 and bounced off of there. So you can see that if something has crazy volume pre-market, don't get stuck with just the opinion that this is only going to go up. Keep an open mind and look for the higher probability trades. All right, DraftKings as well, finally pulling back. It had amazing upward trend. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, little pullback day, 1, 2, 3. Here's a pullback day. Is this going to continue to the upside? It might. This might just be that retracement day after 3 white candlesticks to the upside. White being upward motion days or hollow candlesticks. All right, AT&T on the potential short list as well today. Just trading pretty much sideways in that range right there. Didn't really, broke up a little bit to the upside today above 2860 and didn't really break down too much at all. We also have earnings coming up. We have CCL, Carnival heading to the downside. So is this going to be the dreaded H going into earnings, right? I don't know if they had, I know there was some speculation from Pelosi that she was going to bail out the airlines. Not so sure about the cruise ships. So might find another target down here around 1350. Earnings coming out today. Period for the 5th. I don't know, did it already have earnings reports? Negative 2.18. Let's go to earnings whisper. And let's type in CCL. We're starting the beginning of earnings season, so keep that in mind. So, they say August 15th, 6 a.m. So maybe it's postponed here. So maybe it's postponed back a couple weeks. I'll look at it on another one as well. All right, QDEL. This one had a massive gap up with not a lot of volume pre-market. So that's why I had it on the potential watch list for a potential short. However, it had a nice move to the upside above 248.50, nice $4 move to the upside, and then potentially going down. I will look at it, John. I know that if you have heard of JC Peretz, He is a big technical analyst as well. And he was talking about McDonald's. I don't remember what price he said, but he did say, hey, if it goes above this price, I think I want to say it was $2.20. We'll look at it and see. Maybe it's something 20 to keep that in mind and potentially go long with a target of 280, I think. Is that what, if I remember correctly? So HMSY, again, large gap up, price action, pre-market, not a lot of volume, so potential for that gap fill to the downside. So over here we have my 425 down around 24.93. Look at what it hit today. Pre-market, it hit that 425 and rejected it. Rejected it back here as well. So we'll see what happens with HMSY, if this will close the gap to the downside coming back down here. All right, let's add these on. You guys want to see Tupperware. I'm going to have to remember on Mondays, I do the live stream with Ticker Talkers, so please keep that in mind. We can't go too long today. All right, so let's look at Tupperware. So Tupperware looks like on the 15-minute chart came up, rejected the 425. It does look as if there is a support area right here at 2010. You see how there was buying that happened right there, and it's acting as support right now. If that does fail, we might see that gap down here to the 1623 mark. Hello, Desert Edge. All right, so right now it has a fairly steep trend and might be setting up for a reversal on the shorter term time frame to squeeze those shorts. However, you would be going against the trend. It might be a reversal, but it would be a trend change. Maybe a potential target back here of 2108 if it does squeeze those shorts. However, the trend right now is downward. You can see that we had the moving averages cross down right here, and it is heading to the downside right now. All right. PEIX. So PEIX looks like a nice ascending triangle, as I was just talking about triangles and price action. So we have a resistance, roughly 808, and a nice, come on, I don't want that, undo. Keeps drawing the trend line, the horizontal line. I want a trend line, please. There we go. All right, so as long as it can hold here and hold this up ascending triangle, there has that potential for a breakout. Remember, every time in the past that it's gone above 792, there has been selling power. So 792 would be my support that I would look to be held, and that 8, I would like to see a big volume come in and break out above 808. All right, let's look at McDonald's. Let's see if my numbers that I remembered from him on Instagram were true. Yeah, so 225, that's what it was. 225, he said, hey, if it goes above 225, potential target of 280. We do have a bit of a cup here, huh? And maybe a little handle right there. You guys see that? So if we ignore this craziness right here, and we go 218 to 167 for our cup and handle, right, like this, we'll just ignore that little blip on the radar, right? And if we do that, and we were to measure from the bottom here, we'll call it up to 218, $45 mark, yeah, 270 maybe, to the upside potentially for McDonald's. You also have to think about it. What do people want? That's sort of a comfort food for many people. In times of economic turmoil, people want to eat comfort food. So many times you will see, the grocery stores potentially will do well if we go into another second wave. We have the online retailers, the online charging sources, PayPal, Square. We'll also potentially see Google increase, as well as Amazon. Again, as long as Amazon isn't heavily hit by the coronavirus with their employees. Of course, that might just mean that they're going to hire more people, right? If those people are out sick, they're just going to be hiring. So might be a place to go look for a position. But right now on the daily chart, McDonald's does look like it has that potential to break out from here. A bit of a cup and handle, you know, barring this back here, of ignoring that, and then moving to the upside right there. Do you guys have any other charts that you would like to check out today? I'm still working on doing that live stream. It's been on the weekends, it's crazy busy with the kids. Most people are like, yay, free time. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a lot with all the nuggets home and playing with them and keeping them entertained. So during the week, I can get more things done, and looking to see about adding that live stream on my website early morning pre-market. All right. So have an amazing afternoon. If you guys do not have anything else, Duncan. Okay, let's check out Duncan. Oops. Duncan. There we go. Here's the thing though. Sometimes, yeah, I'll check out UPS. Sometimes when they downgrade something, it's simply for a potential entry. So John, pay attention to that. Sometimes you'll see that it will have a big pullback the next day, only to have big buying come into it. Look, we're right here back at almost at the support. So let's look at my 425. Optimal entry, maybe back at 76, 79, $80 right here. And maybe we have a bit of a head and shoulders on the 45-minute chart, shoulder, head, shoulder. And so maybe it will come back down to this support and a potential entry roughly at $80. Otherwise, we might see that it just large volume comes into it and then they take it up. But Dunkin' Donuts might be like McDonald's, and it will potentially have that same big upward movement to it. Okay, PACB. All right, PACB, Pacific Biosciences. So I'm not into biotechs all that much. It does look like it has had a nice upward trend overall. Let's look at the daily chart. Oops. I feel like my computer's been having gremlins lately. So yeah, big upward surge. I want to say PACB is lower float. It's looking really overextended over here and over here. Has 1350, maybe a target for where they might want to take it. However, look at how extended it's been. It's had almost a 300% growth since August, and it's gone parabolic. Doesn't mean that it will stop. However, usually when the trend is so extreme, you'll find that there is a downward, almost a matching downward trend to it, right? So we have that trend line right there, which it followed for quite a while. And then we have this trend line for the past 3 days, which is super extreme. So it might quickly pull back down to 1060. No guarantees there. Just looking at the chart technically, had bigger volume over here. We are above that. So we might see that that's buying volume. It seems to have stalled roughly at 1275. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just that there's no trading happening with the price action right now. And ATVI, Activision. All right, ATVI. Looks like it's got found a bit of support, a little bit of a rounded bottom on the 15-minute chart over there. And on our daily chart, oh, it's been sort of choppy, huh? Let's move this up here. Whoops. Right here. So we've got a bit of a downward trend that's happening, right? We have downward trend, and then we've also been trading in this channel. and respecting pretty much that downward trend except for Thursday, except for Thursday. And it might come down here. We have a descending triangle, might be dropping down to 73 or 73.75 maybe when it gets down here. But looking at it, momentum, let's look at the weekly. Looks like it's downward, respecting that trend line. Where are we on the weekly? It's below the moving averages right now. So yeah, we might see further continuation down and then run up into earnings maybe for Activision. But just looking at it right there, might pull back down here too, 77.15 from there. All right, guys, have an amazing afternoon. I will see you all tomorrow at 12:15. If you all ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at jane@cjanetrade.com. If you all want to learn anything more about the dark pools, come over and check out the training pit at thedarkpools.com. And also, as one of my fans from YouTube, you can receive 20% off on my daily watch list. The promo code is down below in the comment section or in the description as investor. So just head on over to cjanetrade.com and you can sign up for 20% off with investor. Have a great afternoon. Carpe Profit, seize those profits one trade at a time.